All right, in this video, we're just going to talk briefly about how you can use filtering to make better sense of your data. So let's say that you have a lot of student data that you pulled from SOAR. Operative phrase in that last sentence is a lot. You got, was this 500, nearly 600 rows of student data. That's wonderful. Everything you need is right here. But it also can be challenging to go from the here's what to the so what to the now what when you have that much you're looking at. But by adding filtering, it allows you to just look at certain parts of the data and to quickly manipulate it to figure out what to do. So in Excel, you're going to find this by going to the Data tab, and then you click Filter. And it's going to add these little triangles, and that gives you a drop down so that you can filter for each. Now, Excel, there's oftentimes multiple ways to get to the same kind of function. You can also go Home, Editing, Sort and Filter, and you can add the filter in that way. But I find the quickest and most intuitive way is that Data tab, then Filter. So what that gives you is it allows you to quickly just look at the data you want for each column. So let's say for this, I'm going to click Select All to unselect, and let's just focus on these students that scored non-proficient on their EOG 6th grade reading. And quick note, these are no student ID numbers, no student names, and they're fake. They're teachers. The teachers are staff members from DRA, so everything is anonymous here. Okay, so now we went from 556 rows to 98. So we're able to kind of focus in a little bit more. Maybe we also cross-reference that with a filter on the total absences current year column. So for this, what we can do is there are these number filters. Because you could, just click on every one, but that's a little bit arduous. But we can do, say, greater than, and let's say, more than, 15 absences for the year. Now, all of a sudden, okay, we got 20 records. So this gives you something that you can kind of focus on. Kids that were not proficient and were missing a decent amount of school. And then you can kind of quickly manipulate by, okay, let's look at just teachers, let's see, these 3 teachers, and you're able to kind of jump back and forth or filter by grade, whatever it might be. But that's the idea with filtering, is you're going from like 600 rows to be able to just kind of focus on, all right, our problem of practice, we want to see, not doing well with the EOGs and missing a bit of school. Filters can be the quickest way to do that. Same basic thing in Google Sheets. It just looks slightly different. But again, you're going to go to Data. It just looks a little different. And then create a filter. And again, it's going to create that little triangle-like kind of icon on each of those columns. So we'll do a different kind of problem practice here. Let's maybe focus on classroom grades. So if you do filter by condition, so the terms sometimes are slightly different going from Excel to Google Sheets, but it's usually pretty similar. And then you have all these different kind of options. So we'll do, less than, 75 for their first quarter grade, and we'll do the same thing for their second quarter grade. Filter by condition, less than 75. So again, it narrows down the data. Now we're down to 75 rows there. And maybe we'll then cross-reference this. Let's look at, for one teacher's classroom, maybe we're sitting down with a PLC and saying like, okay, let's just look at, we'll do this Ziegler teacher. It seems like he could use some help. So again, you're able to kind of jump through, and you narrowed it down using filters. And I would say, okay, these kids, the classroom grades aren't there. But by keeping up maybe like their NC check-in, their EOGs, you might be able to kind of figure out, how about this kid that the NC check-in scores are pretty high, seem to suggest they have some underlying skills. Last year on the EOG or 6th grade, they scored well. So what's not translating to those kind of classroom grades that we see there? That's the kind of stuff that you can use filters for. And then you can really quickly kind of jump around by just kind of tweaking those filters. It's a really simple kind of tool that allows you to quickly manipulate the data to zoom in on what you want to focus on. All right, hope that's helpful. That's filtering in Excel and Google Sheets.